After being held to a 1-1 draw by Tottenham last week, it's clear that Liverpool are not going to be able to lift the league title by the end of the season. While missing out on a second Premier League title wouldn't end the season on a poor note, the Reds have no option but to win the Champions League in order to consider their campaign as a successful one. They're definitely walking on thin ice. According to reports, Frenkie de Jong has already chosen his future destination, which means that the last few games in Spain might be his last for Barcelona. Newcastle United are an ambitious club now, and the Magpies will go through quite an eventful transfer window, which will see several players leave the club. Now that Erling Haaland is a shoo-in at Man City, the dressing room is going to be shaken up, which is good and bad. So, we know this guy who complained about having a really big chunk of his arm missing when he woke up. Turns out he watched quite a few of our videos, said a few things in the comments section, but still didn't like it and did not subscribe to the channel. Well, eventually Luis Suarez found him and did what we've been telling you for a long time. So, let's make sure that we don't have anything missing from our bodies when we wake up one random morning, so do yourselves a favour and become part of our community. Now let's move on to the main things to discuss. You came for the news, and we'll give you the lowdown. Thanks, Eddie Howe. The Newcastle manager, who arrived on November 8th, succeeded thanks to a nice winter transfer window that saw the arrivals of Bruno Guimaraes and Kieran Trippier as headliners in redressing the delicate situation of the Magpies in the standings. Survival was finally ensured almost without shaking, but the recent hiding against Manchester City, 5-0, showed that there's still a long way to go to reach the heights of the Premier League, an ambition displayed by new investors. So inevitably, it will be necessary to review the workforce in depth and, therefore, go through the transfer window box. And Toon's track record is clear. According to information from The Telegraph, they intend to first part with several players on whom they no longer rely. Mentioned players are Matt Ritchie, Kieran Clark, Carl Darlow, Federico Fernandez, Isaac Hayden, Jeff Hendrick and Dwight Gale. Others could also be shown the way out in the event of a financially attractive offer. This is particularly the case for midfielder Sean Longstaff, explains the English Daily. We've also heard the names of Miguel Almiron, who's lost momentum this season after 2 convincing seasons. At the same time, the residents of St James's Park obviously intend to strengthen themselves. With a transfer kitty of more than 100 million, excluding sales, Newcastle will make quite a lot of moves, and if the name of Jesse Lingard, free at the end of his contract with Man United, has returned to discussions recently, the club obviously has other ideas. The Telegraph maintains that younger players are targeted to lower the average age of a rather aging workforce. The plan is well put together. It remains to be seen whether it will go off without a hitch. Pushed towards the exit at FC Barcelona, Frenkie de Jong is getting closer every day to a departure. The Dutchman might have already chosen his future destination. This summer, Barcelona want to change almost everything. 8 signings are expected by Xavi this summer, according to Mundo Deportivo. But before buying, the Camp Nou residents will have to sell this summer, as the Blaugrana tactician revealed earlier this week. The scenario is easy. It depends on the money. We're going to do one thing or another. It's obvious, but that's how it is. The situation is tough, but right now it's our reality. To replenish their coffers, Barca intend to part with several undesirables, such as Samuel Umtiti, Clément Lenglet, Miralem Pjanic, or even Philippe Coutinho, who's about to stay permanently at Aston Villa. At the same time, the Catalan leaders also want to offload players with a high market value. If the fate of Memphis Depay is not yet sealed, that of his compatriot Frenkie de Jong is. For several weeks now, the Iberian press has ensured that the Dutchman will be sacrificed by the Catalan club. In public, Xavi has always denied this information. I don't see many players with his qualities at this level. He has to prove it. It is very important for the present and the future. But behind the scenes, Barca are pushing the 25-year-old midfielder well towards the exit. It is believed that despite his talent, he is not the long-awaited leader. Under contract until 2025, the former Ajax Amsterdam man, frustrated by his season, was not necessarily going to leave, but the Barcelonans seem determined to make him leave, and have even set his price at 70 million euros. Displayed on the market, de Jong is likely to bring in big money, since many clubs have already positioned themselves to recruit him. Bayern Munich, Paris Saint-Germain, Juventus, Manchester United and Manchester City, who are thinking of a swap deal with Bernardo Silva, are all ready to bet on the Dutchman, and one of these prestigious candidates has obviously doubled the competition and might have practically closed the deal. Gerard Romero, a well-informed Barca journalist, claims that Frenkie de Jong is going to move to Manchester United this summer. The case will even be closed at the end of the month, assures the journalist, who specifies that this operation is already at 95%. He even adds that the Red Devils will put between 70 and 80 million euros on the table to afford the midfielder. Information relayed and confirmed by Cadena Ser, which indicates that Barcelona will listen to offers for De Jong and his teammate Marc-Andre ter Stegen. The transfer window has already started at Camp Nou. Erling Haaland's impending arrival at Manchester City will seriously strengthen the English club, but it will also have some consequences on the workforce, and some gnashing of teeth internally. The missing link. For many, the arrival of Haaland at Manchester City will allow the English club to take the last step in the Champions League quest. With such a clinical striker, equipped with such a particular skill set, Pep Guardiola adds a new string to his bow. However, the transfer of the Norwegian, which was formalised on Tuesday, will also cause some trouble for the Spanish coach. As often in this kind of large-scale transfer, the figures come out in the press, sometimes so many that several versions oppose each other. One thing is certain, Erling Haaland will receive a lot of money, and that makes some people cringe in the Mancunian locker room, according to our information. Some players, among Guardiola's faithful, necessarily consider themselves less well valued than the new recruit, and don't hesitate to let it be known. Some had already been burned by the Jack Grealish signing, who was purchased for 117 million euros and makes £350,000 per week, more than players like Sterling, Mahrez or Bernardo Silva. Likewise, while his performances were not extraordinary, he benefited from a certain indulgence on the part of Guardiola, in the eyes of some players in the squad. The Haaland case thus adds to this feeling. While the season is not over, with the title of Champion of England to be sought ahead of Liverpool, the timing of the announcement therefore also complicates things. Another consequence is that it will encourage certain offensive players to look elsewhere. It is not the rumours that are already hovering above Raheem Sterling, who has been linked with Arsenal, AC Milan and Barcelona. The 27-year-old England international is expected to leave Man City this summer, and this could also be the case for Gabriel Jesus, who is also attracting interest from Arsenal. Difficult times lie ahead. Okay, so Liverpool's chances of winning the Premier League are effectively over. This was all but confirmed after Jurgen Klopp's men were held to a 1-1 draw by Antonio Conte's Tottenham in an encounter at Anfield that could have gone either way. Naturally, the German tactician was not very happy with things. In the Champions League, they face Real Madrid. Of course, the Reds are heavy favourites to win the competition. However, if it was any other team, we would have agreed with such bold statements. But since they face Real Madrid, everyone should have their doubts. Yes, we believe that Liverpool are one of the best sides on the planet at the moment, but have Real Madrid bothered about those things throughout their journey to the final of the competition? Madrid is a team built to thrive in European nights. We will be covering this in greater detail in one of our upcoming videos, but to cut a long story short, Carlo Ancelotti's men have already humbled a lot of teams in the competition, even though they've got their own issues to sort out. So if Madrid end up winning the title, Liverpool will have ended the season with only a League Cup triumph to show for their efforts, which in all honesty should be considered a very poor end to a campaign that for the most part offered a lot of promise but ended with a whimper. Will the Liverpool fans be able to digest such a foreboding scenario?